Have you ever sensed you were standing on the edge of something extraordinary, but couldn't quite put your finger on it? In this very moment, something remarkable is unfolding, not only in your personal life, but across the planet. Millions of people are waking up to a truth that has been hiding in plain sight. Today, this very day, has the power to completely reshape everything about your existence. What if I told you the restless feeling inside you, the sense that something has to change, isn't random at all? It's your soul calling you toward the life you're meant to live. And your being here, watching this video, is no accident. You're part of a massive global energetic shift in which ordinary people are discovering they possess an extraordinary ability to transform their reality. The old way of living, reacting to life instead of creating it, is ending. A new path begins today, one where you become the conscious architect of your experience. But here's what most people don't grasp. This window of opportunity won't stay open forever. The energy available right now, the universe's support, follows its own natural rhythm. Think back to those times when everything suddenly clicked, when doors that had been shut for years swung open and opportunities appeared out of nowhere. Those moments weren't accidents. They happened because you aligned with a greater current of possibility. Today carries the same potential, only amplified. The real question isn't whether you're ready for change. It's whether you're prepared to step into the version of yourself that's waiting to emerge. Before we go on, hit the subscribe button. And if you're ready to align with this massive energetic shift and step into the extraordinary life that's waiting, type in the comments, "I'm ready for my transformation." Each morning, billions of people around the world wake up to the same choice. They can relive the patterns that brought them to yesterday, or they can decide that today marks the start of something entirely different. What makes today special isn't just another motivational phrase. There's real science behind why certain moments hold more transformative power than others. Your brain doesn't distinguish between what's happening outside you and what's happening inside. When you make a sincere decision to change, when you feel it in your body and see it in your mind, your nervous system instantly begins to rewire itself. This isn't wishful thinking. That's simply how human consciousness works. The moment you truly decide that your old way of being has ended, your brain starts constructing new neural pathways to support your new identity. Think about the most significant changes you've made in life. Did they unfold slowly over months and years? Or did they begin in a single instant when you finally said, "Enough"? Most genuine transformation starts with a decisive moment, followed by consistent actions that reinforce that decision. Today could be that moment for you. What stops most people from experiencing a breakthrough is that they wait for outer conditions to change before they decide to change within. They think they need permission from others, perfect circumstances, or absolute confidence before taking the first step. That approach guarantees nothing will ever shift, because outer conditions are always in flux, and confidence is born from action, not the other way around. What if you flip that equation completely? What if you chose to believe that your inner state determines your outer reality, not the reverse? That means no matter what's happening around you, financial stress, relationship struggles, health issues, career uncertainty, you still hold the power to plant the seed of a completely different future. The energy available to you today doesn't depend on perfect circumstances. It depends on your willingness to step into the unknown, to trust that forces you can't yet see will back your commitment to grow. Your past has served its purpose, but it was never meant to define your future. Right now, you're carrying emotional patterns, thought habits, and self-concepts that were formed in times when you had less awareness, fewer resources, and different priorities. Those earlier versions of yourself made sense when they were created, yet they now block the full emergence of the person you're becoming. So, what does it really mean to let go of the past? It doesn't mean pretending painful experiences never happened, or forcing yourself to feel grateful for every hardship. Letting go means releasing the emotional charge that keeps you recreating the same experiences over and over. It means ending the mental rehearsal of old grievances, disappointments, and limitations that tie you energetically to what is already finished. Each time you relive an old hurt, each time you tell the story of how someone wronged you or how unfair life has been, you're not merely remembering the past, you're recreating it in the present. Your brain and body respond to that mental rehearsal as if it's happening right now, trapping you in yesterday's emotional states. What if you could consciously choose which parts of your past to carry forward and which to release? Experiences that taught you resilience, compassion, and wisdom become part of your power. Experiences that leave you feeling resentful, fearful, or limited can be accepted for their lessons and then let go. How do you know you're truly ready to release something? When you think of it, you feel light, not heavy. You can tell the story without becoming emotionally activated. You recognize the growth without needing to relive the pain. This process doesn't happen overnight, but it can start with a single decision: to stop feeding the stories that keep you small and to start feeding the vision of the person you are becoming. Intention is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Yet most people misunderstand what intention really is. They think it's the same as wanting something, hoping for something, or even working hard for something. True intention is far more powerful because it moves from a place of certainty, not doubt. When you set a genuine intention, you're not asking the universe to maybe give you something if you're lucky. You're declaring what will be because you've decided to align every part of yourself with that outcome. Your thoughts, feelings, actions, and energy all start moving in the same direction. That level of alignment creates a magnetic field around you, drawing in the opportunities, people, and conditions that support your intention. Here's where most people get stuck. They set intentions based on what they think is possible, not on what they actually want. They limit their intentions to what seems realistic, given their current circumstances. That approach guarantees you'll stay exactly where you are, because you're using your present limitations to define your future possibilities. What would happen if you set intentions not according to who you are, but according to who you're becoming? What if you allowed yourself to want what you truly want instead of what feels attainable? That doesn't mean being unrealistic. It means being willing to become the person who can achieve what currently seems impossible. The difference between a wish and an intention is emotional intensity. A wish usually carries an undertone of doubt. An intention carries a feeling of inevitability. You may not know exactly how it will happen, but you know it will, because every part of your being is committed to it. Intentions work best when they align with your deepest values and serve something bigger than yourself. When your personal growth contributes to others' well-being, when your success creates opportunities for other people to succeed, your intentions are supported by life itself. The question isn't whether you have the power to manifest your intentions. The question is whether you're willing to become the person who lives those intentions every day. Your brain continually reprograms itself based on what you think, feel, and do repeatedly. That's not a nice metaphor. It's measurable science. Every thought you think builds neural pathways, and every feeling you feel creates chemical patterns in your body. When you think the same thoughts and feel the same emotions every day, you literally program yourself to be who you've always been. What if you use that same mechanism to become someone entirely different? What if you consciously chose new thoughts and emotions that build neural pathways, supporting the life you want? That's exactly what neuroscience research into human potential is revealing, and my work is devoted to showing people how to apply these discoveries in practical ways. The key insight is that your brain doesn't know the difference between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience. When you mentally rehearse a new way of being, when you practice feeling gratitude, joy, and empowerment before outer circumstances trigger them, you literally condition your nervous system, to operate from a higher baseline. Most people live in a reactive state, where their emotions are dictated by what happens throughout the day. Someone cuts them off in traffic and they feel angry. They get good news and they feel happy. Essentially, they're emotional slaves to their environment. Through conscious practice, you can learn to generate elevated emotions at will, making you the creator of your inner state, rather than the victim of your circumstances. This process is about more than positive thinking. It requires you to feel the emotions of your future reality so intensely that your body begins to believe it's already living that reality. When you combine clear mental images of the future you desire with the genuine feelings of having already achieved it, you create what scientists call a new personality. Your personality is simply the combination of how you think, feel, and act. Change any one of those elements consistently, and the other two will follow. Change all three simultaneously through conscious practice, and transformation happens exponentially faster. The most crucial part of this process is moving beyond the analytical mind that wants to understand exactly how your new life will unfold. The analytical mind is anchored in past experience and can only create more of what you've already known. True transformation requires accessing the quantum field of infinite possibilities, where solutions your logical mind could never grasp already exist. This isn't about abandoning logic or rational thought. It's about stepping beyond the limits of the known and allowing an intelligence greater than your personal history to guide you. When you learn to live from this expanded state of consciousness, you stop forcing change and start allowing transformation to flow naturally through you. In a world that rewards constant movement and endless productivity, the idea of sitting still can seem unproductive. Yet some of the deepest transformations occur not when you do more, but when you become more present with what already is. Stillness isn't the absence of activity. It's the presence of awareness. When you quiet the mental chatter that usually runs your life, you create space for a deeper intelligence to emerge. This is not the intelligence that comes from books or experience. It's the intelligence that knows exactly what you need before you even ask. Some call it intuition, others inner wisdom. Whatever name you choose, this guidance is always available when you're present enough to receive it. Most of your daily decisions are made from memory patterns based on past experiences. But in stillness, you can make choices from a fresh place of perception that isn't confined to what's happened before. Real creativity and innovation come from thinking differently, not thinking more. This practice doesn't require hours of meditation or perfect conditions. 3 minutes of conscious breathing can shift your entire nervous system from stress mode to growth mode. In growth mode, your body heals faster, your mind works clearer, and your heart stays open to possibilities you can't see when you're caught in mental noise. Why do so many breakthrough insights come during quiet moments, such as walking in nature or taking a shower? Because when your busy mind finally relaxes, the deeper part of you that already knows the answers can finally be heard. Understanding how transformation works is only half the equation. The other half is taking action aligned with your new understanding. But not just any action. Conscious action that comes from clarity rather than obligation, from inspiration rather than desperation. The difference between conscious and unconscious action is awareness of why you're doing what you're doing. Unconscious action is driven by habit, fear, or social conditioning. You do things because you've always done them, because you're afraid of what will happen if you don't, or because it's what others expect. Even when those patterns don't serve you, they keep you stuck in the familiar. Conscious action arises from a deeper place. It aligns with your values, your vision, and your authentic self. When you take conscious action, there's a sense of rightness, even when it's challenging or uncomfortable. You're not forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do. You're choosing to do something that serves your highest good. How do you tell whether an action is conscious or unconscious? Notice how it feels in your body. Unconscious actions often feel heavy, stressful, or draining, even if they're familiar. Conscious actions feel energizing, even when they require effort, because they don't violate your authentic self. A single conscious action born of clarity is worth more than dozens of unconscious actions born of habit or fear. When your actions align with your deeper purpose, they have a multiplying effect. Doors you didn't even know existed open, people who can help you appear, and resources that once seemed impossible become available. This doesn't mean conscious action is always easy, or that everything will go smoothly. It means you're moving not against the natural flow of life, but with it, building momentum in a direction that serves not only your personal goals, but your evolution as a human being. Before you take any significant action, ask yourself, is this coming from fear or from love? Is this moving me toward the person I want to be or keeping me stuck where I am? The person you've been up to this moment is not the person you have to keep being. That's not just an inspiring idea. It's a fundamental truth about human biology and consciousness. Every cell in your body is constantly renewing itself. Every neural pathway in your brain can be rewired. Every pattern in your life can be redesigned when you understand how to work with your own transformation process. To create a new self, you must do something most people find difficult. You must stop being your old self before you fully become your new self. That means entering a period of uncertainty where you're no longer who you used to be, yet not quite who you're becoming. This transition zone can feel uncomfortable because your identity is shifting, but that's exactly where the magic happens. Most people abandon their transformation in this uncertain stage because they interpret discomfort as a sign something's wrong. In fact, the discomfort of transition is evidence that something's right. You're shedding the familiar patterns that keep you limited. As I teach, you must repeatedly choose your future over your past until your new identity becomes more real to you than the old one. The process involves three essential elements working together. First, you need a clear vision of the person you're becoming, so compelling it pulls you forward, even when your old patterns try to drag you back. Second, you must practice feeling the emotions of your new self before your outer circumstances change, because your emotional state signals to your brain and body that this new identity is real. Third, you must take the actions your new self would take, even when those actions feel unfamiliar or challenging. This isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about revealing who you truly are beneath years of conditioning and limitation. Your authentic self isn't something you have to create from scratch. It's something you uncover by releasing everything that isn't really you. The most powerful part of this process is learning to think greater than your environment, feel greater than your circumstances, and act greater than your past experiences. When you can maintain an elevated emotional state and a clear intention no matter what's happening around you, you achieve a level of personal freedom that no external situation can take away. That level of freedom doesn't happen overnight, but it can begin right now. Every time you choose a thought that serves your vision instead of reinforcing your limitations, every time you generate a feeling that lifts you up instead of draining you, every time you take an action that aligns with your future instead of repeating your past, you become, quite literally at the cellular level, a new person. When you start living from a place of authentic alignment, the universe begins communicating with you in ways that might surprise you. These communications rarely arrive as dramatic, supernatural events. They come as subtle patterns and meaningful coincidences that some people call synchronicities. How do you distinguish a genuine synchronicity from a random coincidence? Synchronicities feel meaningful in a way coincidences do not. They often involve perfect timing, unexpected connections between seemingly unrelated events, or information arriving exactly when you need it. They feel like gentle confirmations that you're on the right track. You may encounter the same message repeatedly through different sources, meet someone with the precise insight you need, or stumble upon an opportunity that seems tailor-made for your situation. The key is to stay attentive without becoming obsessed with looking for signs everywhere. Some people dismiss synchronicities as wishful thinking, while others are so intent on finding them that they see meaning in everything. A balanced approach is to remain open and aware, while continuing to take practical action toward your goals. The signs are not meant to replace your effort and decision-making. They're there to support and encourage you. What matters most isn't the signs themselves. It's your ability to recognize that you're in harmony with a larger intelligence that organizes life. When you're truly aligned with your purpose and acting from your authentic self, support shows up in ways you could never plan or predict. If you're watching this video, if these words resonate with something inside you, if you feel a flicker of possibility you haven't felt in a long time, then you need to understand something important. Your transformation has already begun. You didn't stumble on this message by chance. You didn't randomly decide to spend your time exploring ideas about personal change and human potential. Something inside you is awakening, and that something led you here because you're ready for the next level of your evolution. The very fact that you can entertain the idea your life could be dramatically different proves you're already moving beyond the limitations that have defined you. Most people don't realize that the transformation process doesn't wait for you to feel completely ready or to have everything figured out. It starts the moment you open your mind to the possibility of change. It accelerates every time you choose a thought that serves your vision instead of your fears. It gains momentum when you act from inspiration instead of desperation. You might think you haven't made any real changes yet, that you're still facing the same challenges and limitations you've dealt with for months or years. But change often happens on the inside long before it becomes visible on the outside. The seeds of your new life are already planted. They're just taking root beneath the surface before you can see them. That's why it's vital to trust the process, even when you don't see instant results. Each moment of awareness, each conscious choice, each time you align yourself with your highest vision rather than your familiar patterns, you're laying the foundation for a life that will surprise you with its richness and meaning. The question isn't whether you have the capacity for transformation. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. The question isn't whether you deserve a better life. You wouldn't feel called to more if it weren't meant for you. The only question is whether you're willing to keep moving forward, even when you can't see exactly where the path leads. Today can be remembered as the day everything in your life began to change, but only if you decide it will be. The information you've received, the insights that sparked something inside you, the sense that change is not only possible but inevitable. None of these are random. They are responses to a decision you made on a level deeper than conscious thought. The decision to step into the fullest expression of who you are meant to be. Transformation doesn't demand perfection, nor does it require you to have all the answers before taking the first step. It asks for something much simpler and far more powerful. The willingness to trust that you already possess everything you need to create the life you dream about, even if you can't yet see all the resources. This trust isn't blind faith. It rests on the understanding that you're part of an intelligent universe that responds to your sincere commitment to growth. What if you decided right now that this moment marks the end of settling for less than what's possible for you? What would change if you chose to believe the universe isn't conspiring against you, but is, in fact, conspiring to support your highest good? What if you started operating from the assumption that your success and fulfillment serve something greater than your personal satisfaction? The energy that brought you to this message is still available to you, as long as you stay committed to the vision of who you're becoming and keep taking actions that align with that vision. Some days will be easier than others. Some choices will feel natural, while others will require courage. Yet every step forward, no matter how small, builds momentum toward a future that surpasses your current expectations. Imagine who you'll be a year from today if you sustain this level of awareness and intentional living. Picture how your relationships will differ when you act from authenticity instead of fear. Envision how your work will transform when you contribute from your true gifts instead of simply going through the motions. See how your health will improve when you live in harmony with your values rather than in conflict with them. This isn't mere visualization. It's recognition of what is already moving toward you as a consequence of the choices you're making right now. Each time you choose growth over comfort, love over fear, and possibility over limitation, you cast a vote for the future you wish to experience. Cast enough votes in the same direction, and that future becomes inevitable. Remember this moment. Remember how it feels to glimpse the possibility of living from your authentic power instead of your familiar limitations. And when your habitual patterns try to reassert themselves tomorrow, when the voice of doubt questions whether real change is possible, return to this feeling and let it guide you forward. The most important thing you can do right now, no matter how small, is to take an action today that honors the vision you've connected with. Send that message, make that call, start that project, have that conversation. Your new life isn't waiting for someday. It's available right now, in this moment, through your next conscious choice.